Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that understand what I do with my rants, I'd go grab yourself some popcorn and a drink. This is going to be a very juicy one. So, some of you may have heard of a company called Amazon Games. Some of you may have heard of a game they released a little while back called Crucible. A game that was free to play on Steam and did so poorly and had so much backlash, they removed it from the Steam store, put it back into beta, then decided to cancel the game. Absolutely nobody cared for the game they had created with Crucible. So they said, right, we're going to go back, we're going to rethink, we're going to make some new games. That's when they come up with the idea for a game called New World. And what they are doing with New World is absolutely disgusting. I was looking through Twitter and I saw a tweet from SkillUp, and it turns out these developers are actually defending boosters and microtransactions, but I've looked further into it and they have some scummy approach to this sort of gaming world. So New World, from what I saw, was set to release in spring 2021, but then I googled the release date and looked on Steam, and apparently it comes out on the 31st of August this year. This game will cost you £35. And yes, other games do this. Some games have a nicer, more gamer-friendly approach. And obviously people will spend their money on whatever they want to spend it on. But that is not the point. It's the point that this stuff is being defended by this company. And with them just openly defending this, you can tell how bad it's going to be. Because typically, even if a game is going to be bad and really heavy on its predatory microtransactions, they will hide it. They will do their very best to keep that stuff quiet. Like how Assassin's Creed Valhalla added in their boosters and everything, and they tried keeping it as quiet as they could. They tried masking it behind the failure of Cyberpunk. So, looking on Twitter, they put out this article, and it's regarding the storefront testing they are doing in the alpha phases of this game. They have said some questions have come up recently from our alpha patch notes discussing an in-game storefront. Our plan in having a store is to create an outlet for players who find enough value in store items that they are happy to purchase them. So that basically says, we know people will buy into this stuff, we don't care about the rest of the community, so we're going to put this stuff into our game. They said our plan is not and never will be to create a feeling that store items are necessary to enjoy the game. All players will be able to play the full game experience we ship without having to make store purchases. That I do not believe for a second. All store items at launch. Just make that big print, not small print, because it states at launch, will be exclusively cosmetic in nature. So any point down the line, they can release stuff that won't be cosmetic because they stated at launch. We are introducing the storefront in alpha in order to test these items and their values. Alpha, beta, release. Alpha has the storefront already. Does that not show a million red flags? No selections in the store or their indicated cost. During testing, there is no real cost in any case. So no selections are final. Our purpose is quality assurance and gathering player feedback. So please share your thoughts once the system is introduced. So basically, I think they're going to introduce the system, test it, and just make sure all of their purchase buttons work. The testing audience will see each type of item we are considering and have an opportunity to provide feedback before they are introduced to the live game. So basically, they've put this out, they want feedback on the items they're going to release into the store. When players say, no, this is not acceptable, they're going to ignore it and release that stuff anyway. It happens with every other game. Why do they think we're going to believe anything different? Looking towards the future, we will also test ideas on how to offer players quality of life items for mechanics like rested XP and fast travel, both obtainable in-game and purchasable in the store. So, you want to fast travel? That's £4. You want to fast travel? That's £4. Oh, you need some XP? That's going to be another $8.99. Oh, you want to fast travel? Yeah, £4 please. Really not acceptable. Really not. Would have been more validated if the game was free to play. Still not acceptable with the amount they add into these, but MMORPGs, and that's what this game is, they always have these sorts of microtransactions in. Look at Path of Exile. I actually have a video I made a very long time ago, still haven't got around to uploading it. They have one package that's £350 or something stupid. The amount of items that are purchasable is just ridiculous in these sorts of games. You have World of Warcraft, one thing I've never ever agreed with, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with my opinion on this. I don't agree with them charging for the game and then having a subscription tied behind it too, and then charging for the expansions. That's just my opinion, and I've played games like Neverwinter. There were a couple of others I've played Black Desert Online. They all have these sorts of microtransactions, so it's not necessarily the case that they're in there. Some part of it, yes, because they are very predatory, like fast travel. You shouldn't have to pay for fast travel. It should be a free thing in a game. And it's the fact they are defending this stuff and saying that it values the player's time. The timing of release for these items, or these types of items, will depend on how players progress in the months after launch. The more players who are able to experience all of our exciting endgame content and game modes, the healthier the overall game experience will be for all players. So basically, get your ass to our endgame, start buying all these fast travel things that we're going to be putting into our microtransaction store, and the experience will be better for all players. Our goal with all items of any type is that they not offer an advantage that imbalances the game. Again, I call bullshit, but it also states, from reading this and seeing the bigger picture of it, their goal with all the items is to make sure they don't offer an advantage that imbalances the game. So as long as it keeps balance, they will have these sorts of items in. And it says our goal. And a lot of developers and publishers and stuff don't actually reach their goals. That's why it's called a goal. You attempt to reach it. And a lot of the time it's never actually achieved. We understand that this line is based on player interpretation. So we ask for your patience while we test in alpha and listen to your feedback. No company that's selling a game like this I'd say a lot of companies from AA up to AAA do not listen at all to feedback. Then they say, for transparency on future plans, we are also contemplating, but have not finalised, a Battle Pass style programme. So this game's going to cost you £35. You're going to have to pay for fast travel. You're going to have to pay for XP boosters. You're going to have a store that has cosmetics all over the place. They're testing all this stuff in alpha. This Battle Pass is going to combine store items on a periodic basis. So basically, you see 20 different things in the store and it costs you like £100. Oh no, don't worry, pay £10, get our Battle Pass and obtain all these items. Basically, they're using predatory ways to lure players into buying the cheaper thing because it's more encouraging, and that way they end up making more money. I think this is all fucking so stupid. They've also said it will be tested ahead of time to ensure it provides strong value without disrupting gameplay for those not participating. And then, what goes on top of that? Much further along, there is also the possibility of optional expansions, which would have a separate cost. So base game £35, cosmetics, fast travel, boosters for XP. They'll probably, so your character can open their eyes and interact with the world, they're probably going to charge you £25 for that. Then a fucking Battle Pass, expansions. This game wants it all. The whole lot of it. And then looking at responses, someone quotes, the more players who are able to experience all of our exciting endgame content and game modes, the healthier it is for all players. That sounds to me that you want to rush people to the endgame with boosts and other things. Sounds really bad to me, just let people enjoy the journey. It's an MMO, you go to all these different areas and you take in the surroundings and the atmosphere and everything. You're supposed to enjoy the game. But they've said here, it isn't about rushing people to the end game. It's about supporting people who don't have as much time to play and helping them reach the end game with the time available to them. Basically, you've got a job, you've got a family and kids and stuff. You're going to have to pay for this shit because you don't have the time like other players do. That's how much value you have to us. You're going to have to pay for all this stuff. Instead of us making it less time to level up, making it faster to reach the end game naturally, or having a route for the people that don't have the time to get to the end game faster than other players or whatever, instead of all that, we're going to charge you for it. And the prices will probably be stupid. Someone's literally said here, if you see your content as skippable or not relevant, that buying a boost is a good way to get into real content, then you fail to create an interesting content progression. Make leveling faster if you care about people wasting their time or if endgame is all you care about. They've said MMOs take a tremendous time investment that not everyone has available. Yeah, true. MMOs are long-winded games. They also carry on to say boosts can be a way for someone who doesn't have time to get more out of the time they can play and support the game and community in another way. So apparently, by spending £50 on a fucking stupid looking mount, that is supporting the community, apparently. The more money you give us, the more we develop for the game. We're not going to have investors and stuff and have this money beforehand. We're going to create this game. You pay for the base game, expansions, fast travel boosters, all this sort of stuff. Battle passes, just everything. They're just trying to sell everything for this fucking game. And after Crucible, you would think Amazon Games would have a bit more sort of an understanding that the community are not going to accept this bollocks that they are trying to pull off. It just makes it so obvious what you're trying to do. This game is just trying to be a cash grab. They've already fucked up with the release of it. I just think this is outrageous for them to go ahead and try and do this. And then looking through the patch notes, they've added some new stuff into the alpha or whatever. There's player titles. They're probably going to cost money. They've spoken about the discoverable fast travel points. Then in general, you've got quest updates, faction control points, housing. Housing in settlements now have tiers. Each tier of houses comes with a different cost and a different set of benefits, with the most expensive houses conferring the greatest benefits. So a house fast travel cooldown 4 hours on tier 1, the least expensive. You're allowed 1 bit of furniture in there. You can have 5 pets. You can have 4 lights. And your territory standing required to purchase is level 10. If you go to tier 4, which is the most expensive, the house fast travel cooldown is 2 hours. You're allowed 4 bits of furniture. You're going to have 8 pets, 10 lights. But your territory standing required to purchase has to be level 20. They're probably going to try and find a way to, that's possibly part of the XP system, your territory standing. So in order to get the best houses and stuff in the game, you're going to have to be a high level, and that's probably going to cost. And then you've got faction missions, you've got XP and leveling, which we've already spoken about the boosters for that. There's leveling milestones, there's the rest of XP, quests and projects. They've done a gold rebalance with the sources and the cost. Loot and gear, there's tuning orbs. To increase the rewards of expeditions, we have gated entrance to expeditions on one party member having a tuning orb. So those tuning orbs will probably be sold at the cost of like 80p per orb. This is absolutely fucking stupid. The fact that they are just adding all this different typical MMO thing into this game that just costs money. You don't see a lot in these patch notes that really talks about things that they're not going to charge for. Gold is probably going to cost. There's probably going to be some in-game sort of like marketplace. Loot and gear, the best stuff's probably going to have like cosmetic skins that are going to cost you £20 upwards in their store. And I've said it a few times in this video, going to say it again, don't worry, there's no drinking game tied to this one. Base game, £35. Then you've got expansions, battle pass, XP, fast travel, skins like cosmetics and stuff. And they stated at launch, all store items will be exclusively cosmetic. So in the future, they could start charging you, oh, you like the look of this sword? It doesn't imbalance the game in any way, but it's a good sword for your level, so it's going to keep the game balanced. But here you go, you can have it, £45, £60. Oh, don't worry, you get a pet with this one, £100. This sort of shit is going to get so out of hand. And I cannot believe they are sitting there defending it, saying they are valuing their players' time by giving them the option to boost their XP and get to the end game faster. Because the faster you get to the end game, the better the experience for all players. Because somehow, your experience, like your level and whether you're in end game or not, is going to affect everyone else that plays this game. Basically, by supporting them and making purchases, you're supporting the community of the game too. It's an absolute fucking joke. I honestly see it being the next Crucible, just flopping, and I don't think this one will come off the market like Crucible did. But I'm pretty sure this one is not going to sell well, based on them openly saying that boosters and stuff are fine because it values players' time. I'm going to leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it.